Have you ever wondered why some people stay broken while others rise stronger than before? The difference is not the pain itself, but how you choose to face it. You have probably been told that struggle is something to avoid, that if you suffer, you are unlucky, or if life hurts, you are doing something wrong. But what if pain is not an accident? What if every difficult moment you face is trying to show you something you would never see in comfort? Nietzsche believed this was the hidden truth most people miss. Struggle is not a curse. It is a gift, but only if you know how to unwrap it. Think about the hardest moments you have lived through. The rejection that left you questioning your worth. The failure that made you doubt your future. The loss that broke your heart. At the time, all you wanted was escape. But later, when the dust settled, you may have noticed something else. Those experiences forced you to grow in ways comfort never could. Nietzsche saw this as the secret function of suffering. It strips away illusions. It takes the masks you thought would protect you and tears them off, leaving you with nothing but the raw truth of who you are. But here is the part most people never realize. Pain is not just random. It speaks in clues. A setback is not just an obstacle. It is a message. The frustration you feel when life blocks you is pointing to your hidden hunger to rise. The shame that burns when you fall short is showing you the standards you secretly want to live by. The emptiness you feel when things fall apart is inviting you to build something stronger in its place. Struggle is a language. The problem is not that it is silent. The problem is that most of us were never taught how to listen. Nietzsche believed that hardship is like fire. It burns away what is weak, but it also reveals what is indestructible. If you only see the pain, you miss the power inside it. He once wrote that the spirit becomes stronger the more it is forced to struggle. The question is not whether life will challenge you. It always will. The question is whether you will read the clues in your suffering or keep running from them, because every time you avoid the lesson, the pain repeats itself, louder and louder, until you finally pay attention. Here is what changes everything. Struggle is not trying to destroy you. It is trying to show you what you are capable of. Think of an athlete who lifts heavy weight. To an outsider, it looks like suffering. Muscles shaking, face straining, body on the edge of collapse. But inside that effort, strength is being created. Without the weight, the body would stay weak. Your life works the same way. The heavier the struggle, the greater the strength hidden inside it. So when you face your next setback, pause before you call it unfair. Ask instead, what is this pain trying to teach me? What illusion is it burning away? What strength is it forcing me to uncover? Because the truth Nietzsche wanted us to see is simple but unsettling. Struggle is not punishment. It is preparation. And once you learn to read it, you stop running from pain and start using it to become who you were meant to be. Shame is one of the emotions we run from the fastest. It stings in a way few other feelings do. It makes your chest tighten, your thoughts spiral, your entire sense of self shrink into something small. Most of us are taught to see shame as a verdict, a sign that we are not enough, that we are broken in some way. But Nietzsche looked at shame differently. He saw it not as a final sentence, but as a mirror, one that reflects the hidden rules we have absorbed without even realizing it. Think about where your shame shows up. Maybe it is in your body, in the way you judge your reflection before anyone else can. Maybe it is in your failures, the voice that whispers you are not smart enough or strong enough. Maybe it is in your desires, the secret things you want but feel guilty for wanting. Shame always feels personal, as if it is exposing something rotten inside you. But Nietzsche would say this: shame is not proof that you are broken. Shame is proof that you have been conditioned. It shows you the invisible laws you are still obeying, the standards you never chose but live by anyway. Here is the part that most people never discover. Shame is not trying to destroy you. It is trying to point you toward your own standards. When you feel ashamed of being weak, it is not because weakness is evil. It is because your deeper self longs for strength. When you feel ashamed of lying, it is not just about guilt. It is a signal that honesty is a value you wish to embody. Shame does not appear in areas you do not care about. It only burns in places where your true potential is calling out to you. Nietzsche believed that if you run from shame, you stay trapped in the rules of the herd. You keep trying to avoid judgment, to hide your flaws, to shrink yourself so no one notices. But if you face shame head on, you can strip away what is false and reclaim what is real. That moment when you feel unworthy can be the exact place you begin to grow. Instead of seeing shame as a wall, see it as a doorway. On the other side of that discomfort is a higher standard, one that belongs to you and not to the crowd. Think of shame like a fire. Left unchecked, it can consume you, burning your confidence to ash. But if you step into it with courage, that same fire can forge you. It can harden your character, sharpen your values, and give you the clarity to know what you truly stand for. Nietzsche's challenge is simple but difficult. Do not let shame be the voice that tells you to hide. Let it be the signal that tells you where to build. The next time shame rises inside you, resist the urge to bury it or drown it out. Instead, pause and ask, what is this feeling pointing to? What value do I secretly want to live up to? What standard is being revealed here? The weight of shame is heavy, but hidden inside it is a map. Follow it, and you will find that the very places you once felt most unworthy can become the exact places where your strength begins. Every wound leaves a mark, but the question is what you choose to do with it. Most people try to cover their wounds, to bury them under distractions, or pretend they are gone. They believe healing means forgetting. Nietzsche disagreed. He believed wounds are not stains to hide, but raw material to transform. The pain you carry is not automatically your strength. It only becomes strength when you confront it and shape it into something new. Think about the scars you carry. Maybe it is betrayal that made you stop trusting. Maybe it is failure that left you doubting every step you take. Maybe it is rejection that convinced you to hold back your true self. These wounds feel like chains, reminders of weakness or loss. But here is the truth Nietzsche wanted you to see. Every wound contains energy. That pain you feel is a force, and forces do not disappear. You can either let it crush you, or you can learn to forge it into armor. Transformation begins with confrontation. To turn wounds into weapons, you must face them directly. The moment you stop running from your pain is the moment it starts to serve you. If you were betrayed, you can let that betrayal poison every relationship, or you can use it to sharpen your ability to recognize honesty and value loyalty. If you failed, you can let failure silence you forever, or you can let it fuel your determination to rise higher than before. The wound itself does not decide, your response does. Nietzsche believed that life is a forge. The heat of suffering melts down the old self and makes room for the new one, but only if you step into the fire willingly. He warned that those who cling to victimhood stay stuck in the past, chained to the story of what broke them. The ones who rise are those who pick up their broken pieces and refashion them into tools of strength. This is the alchemy of pain. It is not magic. It is choice. Your scars can become signals. The rejection you endured can become the reason you no longer seek shallow approval. The heartbreak you survived can become the reason you love more courageously. The failure you lived through can become the reason you are relentless in pursuit of your vision. Every scar is a lesson carved into your skin, and if you let it, each one will whisper to you the kind of power it can become. The world will always try to convince you that scars are shameful, that you should hide them so no one sees where you have been hurt. Nietzsche thought the opposite. Scars are proof you entered the fire and came out alive. They are not weakness, they are your evidence of survival. The more scars you carry, the more weapons you have, if you learn how to use them. So when you look at your wounds, stop asking how you can erase them. Ask instead how you can use them. What strength can this scar teach me? What resilience can this pain unlock? Because Nietzsche's lesson is this: pain will always leave marks, but it is your choice whether those marks bind you in chains or whether they harden into armor you can carry into the battles ahead. Most people see struggle as a ceiling. They hit a limit, feel the weight pressing down, and assume that is as far as they can go. But Nietzsche argued that what feels like a ceiling is not the end. It is the beginning of something higher. Pain does not just test your endurance, it expands it. Every time you face difficulty and refuse to collapse, you are not only surviving, you are raising the very limits of who you can be. Think about the moments when life pressed you to your edge. Maybe it was losing something you thought you could not live without. Maybe it was failing in front of others when success mattered most. Maybe it was waking up day after day in a situation that felt unbearable. At first, it seemed like the end of the road, but if you kept moving, even slowly, something changed. What once felt impossible became normal. The weight that nearly crushed you became something you could now carry. That is what Nietzsche meant by self-overcoming. You are not born with fixed limits. You stretch them by entering struggle and refusing to retreat. Here is the part most people never realize. Struggle is not neutral. It either shrinks you or expands you. For those who resist it, fight against it, or deny it, struggle hardens into bitterness. But for those who lean into it, it becomes strength training for the soul. Every time you push through, your ceiling rises. What once felt like the edge of collapse becomes your new foundation. Yesterday's breaking point becomes today's baseline. Nietzsche saw this as the path to greatness. He believed the individual grows tallest, not in times of ease, but in times of crisis, because crisis forces choice. Will you stay broken, or will you rise above? When the world strips you bare, you discover reserves of power you never knew were there. You stop asking for life to be easier and start demanding more of yourself. That shift is where ceilings are shattered. Think about how the strongest steel is forged. It is placed in fire, hammered, stretched, beaten into shape. Without that heat and pressure, it remains brittle. With it, it becomes unbreakable. Your struggles are the same. Each time life puts you into fire, you are being reshaped, tempered, expanded. What was once weakness is reforged into endurance. What was once doubt becomes clarity. What was once fear becomes fuel. This is why Nietzsche warned against the pursuit of comfort. Comfort keeps you at the same level forever. Struggle raises you. Each time you face it, you are building a new layer of strength on top of the last. And here lies the secret most never discover. Every ceiling you hit can become a new floor. What once felt like the highest you could climb becomes the place where you now stand. From there, you can see higher peaks. So when pain comes, do not see it as the end. See it as a doorway. Ask yourself, what part of me is being stretched right now? What limit is being broken? Because every time you answer, struggle with courage, you expand your own horizon. Nietzsche's vision is clear. Struggle is not here to crush you. It is here to lift you. And if you refuse to stay broken, the very weight that once held you down will become the foundation you stand on to rise. Every struggle eventually brings you to a choice. You can let the weight of what hurt you keep pressing you down, or you can decide that the same force will make you stronger. Nietzsche believed this was the turning point of every life. Pain is not neutral. It either leaves you trapped in silence, or it becomes the spark that transforms you. And the choice is always yours. Think about the moments that broke you, the betrayal that cut deeper than you expected, the failure that made you question everything about yourself, the loneliness that hollowed out your days. At first, all pain feels the same. It feels like collapse. But what happens next is what separates those who stay broken from those who become unbreakable. Most people carry their wounds like chains. They repeat the same patterns, replay the same losses, and live small to avoid ever being hurt again. Nietzsche warned that this is the path of decay, the slow death of a spirit that refuses to rise. But there is another path: to face your pain directly, to step into it instead of running from it, to let it reveal the strength you never would have found in comfort. This is what Nietzsche called self-overcoming, the act of shaping yourself, not in spite of struggle, but through it. The broken moment becomes the birthplace of a new self, one that is not weaker for having suffered, but harder, sharper, and more alive. The danger is that running from pain feels safe. You can numb it, hide it, distract yourself until the sting fades. But it always returns, because what you refuse to face owns you. The silence of avoidance is not peace. It is a cage, and every time you choose to avoid, the cage grows tighter. Nietzsche wanted us to see that the only way out is through. By facing what hurt you, you turn it into a source of power. By refusing to face it, you let it keep rewriting your story in the same tired lines. To become unbreakable is not to be untouched by life. It is to be touched deeply and still rise. It is to walk through fire and carry the burn marks as proof, not as weakness. It is to reach the point where pain no longer dictates your choices, where you can look at your scars and say, "These made me." At that point, the very forces that once threatened to destroy you become the foundation of your strength. So here is Nietzsche's final invitation. Stop waiting for a life without pain. That life does not exist. Instead, decide what your pain will mean. Will it chain you to the past, leaving you smaller than you were meant to be? Or will it carve you into someone untouchable, someone who no longer just survives but shapes their destiny? The choice stands in front of you every time you suffer. Stay broken or become unbreakable. And the moment you choose the latter, your pain is no longer your enemy. It is your greatest ally.